my fucking alarm just went off, so the video cut off, and I'm a bit pissed off at that. But anyway, I'm gonna be uploading this one as a 2-part, or maybe I'll do some editing and put it together. But anyway, it all happens for a reason anyway. So yeah, let's continue. Royal 8.8 is free of the fear of worried about not living my dream lifestyle and not achieving matching life. Royal 8.8 is free of the fear of worrying about not having my own sky-high apartment. I just talked about actually. Royal 8.8 is free of the fear of worried about not having a passionate, extraordinary relationship with my partner, or not being able to meet the right twin flame or a sacred one counterpart, one who understands me energetically in a way where I would not need to speak. Where is the next page? In a way that I would not need to speak a word. A spiritually harmonious and balanced relationship of unconditional, playful, romantic and pure love, full of excitement, challenge, support, adventure, craziness, strangeness and oddness. This is more about like the dimension number dimension number 3, about the emotions, about having a family, and about the creation, about living your own lifestyle. Again, each of them apply to all the dimensions together. So you can see, like, I had that same pattern, same fear written down from a different angle, from a different perspective, not an angel, not an angel, angela, or a different angle of perspective. Royal 8.8 is free of the fear of worrying about not having enough money and resources for the things I want to experience, for the new earth and evolved humanity projects, as well as for building my business to serve millions of souls. Like, if you have a business, if you're a solo entrepreneur, if you're a sole trader and you want to transition from being a sole trader to an actual entrepreneur, having your own business, your company, everything set up properly, professionally, then you will have those fears going through the transition, going through the process. Then come to me, that's cool. I have this thing called Business Transcendence Mastery course, partnership, sacred wisdom, giving temple, promise, delivery platform. That is one word, by the way, where we answer there's one fundamental question that it then has other 013 questions attached to it that is based on your business, based on your business model, based on what the service you want to provide, based on your wisdom that you want to share with the world. One of the questions we ask and answer is like, how might I heal my vehicle of ascension business so that it can perform at 144,000% energy level and fulfill my sacred soul-led but self-defined cosmic purpose, cosmic mission, cosmic destiny, cosmic vision of love, cosmic vision of abundance, cosmic faith, cosmic destiny, cosmic purpose of existence, cosmic vision of existence, so that it can be of greater practical, implemental, functional service and experimental service to humanity right now in this lifetime specifically, so that you can live in more joyful love, luminous light and peaceful unity as an immaculate quintessential expression of divinity itself. And then it says, Rule 8.8 is free of the fear of worrying about my own abilities and skills, of not being able to deliver and be an extraordinary, masterful and powerful conscious leader at the front lines of the battles, of like the wars and all of that shit. It's not so much a battle and war, it's like a dance of consciousness within the web of emotions. Like, we're here dancing with each other, being playful and loving, and we're helping each other to grow, to evolve, to transcend. All these things I'm doing is all. This video is a little bit uncomfortable for me. I don't know, there's some fundamental patterns within me, some fears, some worries, some weaknesses or something that is being transcended as I'm doing this video. Like, the video got cut off halfway and I got a little bit angry and I was like, what the hell? And because I've become so aware, I'm just being an observer. I'm just absolute neutrality, transcending duality, vibrationless, transcendence being. I'm just watching, observing and studying my own emotional feeling, my own thought waves as a dimensional, as a 013 dimensionless being, observing it from third perspective. I think one of the main reasons that was causing a bit of frustration in this video was because I'm sitting in this side and the sun went out, and I'm a bit worried whether the lighting is good enough, whether you can see me or not, and that has been causing an underlying subtle pattern in this video. But maybe that is by a higher design, so you could feel. If you still haven't felt it, like about a quarter of the way when the sun was going like behind the trees, my behavior, my energy slightly changed, because within me underneath I had this fear of like, oh, what if the video doesn't have a good lighting? What if they cannot see me? So you can see that I am being pure, I'm being naked, and sharing these examples with you right live here, and saying, hey, we all go through these fears, we all go through these weaknesses, it's part of the human condition, and we all come here. I think it kind of makes it a bit more fun, isn't it? Because imagine in the heavens, in the spirit realm, and all of that, in the Nirvana, Valhalla, and Behisht, and places like that, the spirit is the intelligent cosmic consciousness, purity, awareness, Kriya awareness, telepathy, all of that, like love and shit like that, like Allah, like God, like Brahman Supreme, like Lord Vishnu, Lord Buddha, Lord Krishna, Lord Shiva, Lord Babaji, Lord Muhammad, Lord Al-Mahdi, Lord Ali Garanda, Lord Royal Anwar Transcendence, Lord Transcendence Royal Anwar. Like in those higher dimensions where there is no physicality at all, where there is no matter at all, everything is just spiritual, ethereal energy, light essence, and like that, they have no fears, they have no illusions, they have pretty much no distortions, no weaknesses, and things like that. But down here in this human experience, we have those things as part of the human experience. So I think that's one of the things that makes this whole thing a bit more fun, doesn't it? So yeah. Ooh, I feel much better now by expressing all of that. Wow, pretty fascinating. That's what I mean. When you express things out, let it out, like write it down and all of that, then you're able to you basically get it out of your system. Your system becomes free, your body becomes free, you become light as a fucking feather. Royal 8.8 is free of the fear of worrying about not being able to find the right team and not being able to provide the right environment for the team to work and the resources for their daily execution, such as their salary and the necessary money to operate the business for years and years in a sustainable way, even long after I'm gone, so the divine mission work can continue for many, many centuries. This is specifically about business. I think it was it was 2019 when I just hired this lady, as an assistant, and she did some amazing work and everything. But also it was really chaotic because I didn't have a proper system, a proper process in place. I was just learning how to hire. I did a bunch of interviews, and it was pretty fun, and it was really an awesome learning experience. Eventually, I just hired one of these ladies, and she did some work, some posting content on my social media, some basically a marketing assistant and all of that. And I got to learn about hiring a team, about putting a system in place, about understanding my own system, my own processes. And it started pretty fun, but then it was a bit chaotic at the end of it. And then this whole fucking coronavirus and shit like that happened, and I wasn't able to pay her for a few months, and she was like in some other countries. And then when I eventually paid her money, it came in at the right time for her, because she was apparently like stuck or in some other country, and she really needed the money, and I just sent her the salary that was left overdue, and that came into her at the right moment. But after that, I was thinking about it, and I was feeling sorry about myself. I was feeling sorry about her, and I was really putting myself in this misery-producing, self-fulfilling, perpetual hell. That's what fundamentally hell is, when you actually keep replaying these worries, these fears, these emotions, these thoughts, these weaknesses, these mistakes that we made, these bad, unbalanced things we did. When we keep replaying them again, they become supercharged. They become these vortexes. They attract those kind of energies to it, and you just gotta let that stuff go. You just gotta spit it out. Don't spit on other people, spit this thing out on the floor. Rule 8.8 is free of the fear of worried about not having freedom and the ability to do what I want when I want. And then there's some more. Rule 8.8 is free of the fear of building a multi-million-pound business over 100 million pounds in dry cash notes. Rule 8.8 is free of the fear of not being able to deliver amazing results for his clients. Rule 8.8 is free of the fear of not having money in the future. Fascinating stuff. Wow. It just makes me laugh going through this stuff, because this was like long time ago. When I was writing this stuff, I was really like crying, I was really emotional, I was sad, I was like, wow, how come I have all these weaknesses, all these traumas? Like, where are my strengths, where are my gifts, where are my wisdom? Like, what is this stuff? Like, how do I feel that I am so wise, so intelligent, yet I have all these weaknesses, all these traumas, and all that shit that I pretty much picked up going along through my journey from Afghanistan to Pakistan, and then coming to UK and going through the school and being a sponge and just sucking, like a SpongeBob, sucking everything and not knowing how to let everything go and being free of it. It just played havoc with me. It just produced so much misery, and I can understand that you can definitely relate with what I'm saying, because we each go through such experiences. But the fun thing is, when we each become liberated, when we each attain a certain level of enlightenment, a certain level of awareness, a certain level of consciousness, then we naturally gravitate towards being service oriented. So in the videos before, there's when I talked about the strengths and some other stuff, and this one is talking about some weaknesses, and the next one is going to be talking about some bad habits and everything that I had that I overcome. So I'm doing this in a bundle. This series is called Transcendence Singularity, Self, Architecting, Designing, Creating, Becoming, and Being Your Own Truest, Purest, Highest, Darkest, and Brightest Self. It's just a sequential series, and each video has its own folder in my drive that I share, like the link to this stuff. I take a picture of it and I give you documents with the questions for each dimension, so you can answer them for yourself. If you like to print them, that's okay. You just open the document and click on File on the top left and make a copy in your drive, whether you use Google Drive or Dropbox or Microsoft OneDrive. I give those three options because I'm a professional, loving, compassionate being. I've eaten so much complexity, I've put so much effort to make it simple for you to go through your own evolution, so you can just be focused on answering the questions, not having to think about creating a document and creating a system. Because when you're actually like creating a document, a system, or architecting the question, you're not in the state of answering those questions, you're in the state of like creating, and your thoughts is all going all around. But when you just have a template, an Inception Genesis template, and you have watched this video completely, you understand the fundamental principles behind that, not the theories, not the concept, the fundamental underlying principles, the patterns, the wisdoms, the spiritual, ethereal energy, eternal light essence behind what I'm saying. Then when you go get the questions, whether you just print them, that's cool, there's enough space to answer the issue of it with pen and paper, or you can download it in your drive, in your computer, or you can just open it, make a copy of it in your drive, and then answer it there. But when you do it, make sure you just block out like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or 1 hour in a quiet space, no phones, like no social medias, and no pings, and no fucking children running around, no dogs and shit barking. Make sure you're in a quiet space, blocked off. Do some breathing exercise, something to just relax yourself, some dancing, something to just get your energy moving and change and break your pattern. You can jump up and down and shit like that, that's cool. And then you just sit down and answer the questions. I'm gonna share a few more examples, and then we'll be done with this video. I'm just gonna maybe go on the other side and do some more videos. The lighting is better there. This is the third video I'm doing in this day anyway. It's pretty fun. Royal 8.8 is free of not having money. Royal 8.8 is free of the fear of not having his dream kit representing car. Basically, in my childhood, I grew up watching the Knight Rider series. If any of you watched the Knight Rider series, the original one, make sure you put it in the fucking comment. Make sure you just put Knight Rider in there, because I grew up living in that world, in the world of Knight Rider. Like, that is what I wanted to be when I wanted to grow up, and I wanted that car, and I was like dreaming about it. And back in the days I didn't understand English, so I was just watching it for the fun of watching it, and I loved the girls, the beautiful girls there were, the blondies, and maybe that's why I'm in England amongst all these beautiful girls in Europe and shit like that, because it was just me as a goofball, as a child, watching this series and wanted to be like the Knight Rider, the story of the man that does not exist. That is what transcendence is. Transcendence is that which does not exist, but somehow it exists because it's right in front of you. You're watching it, you're observing it, you're reciting it, when you're enjoying its wisdom, its infinite wisdom pouring out. Yet I wanted that fucking car, not that exact car, like, and then I looked at like Tesla, they had that basically self-driving car and everything. I was like, when I say kids representing car, like when I looked at the Tesla and stuff like that, I was like, that's pretty cool, like that's exactly like the modern version of that thing from the movie. It's actual one, and I wanted that, but at the same time I had these underlying fears and worries and weaknesses or something that it was pushing it away. And I was like, what the fuck is all of this? Like, how can I want something? How can I actually like love something, but how is it that I also hate it and don't want it? And that's when I realized that I am such a paradoxical being, that, you know, my energy, my field and everything is in architect, it's something different. Like you can see the things I do, the things I talk about, the way I behave, the way I present myself. All I'm doing is being my own truest, purest, highest, darkest and brightest self. But to a lot of other people, they say you're very odd, Royal, you're very strange, you're very bizarre, you act very crazy, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, of course I'm fucking okay. I'm just here having fun and being of service. Royal 8.8 is free of the fear of being a failure. We all have that shit, get rid of it. Fundamentally, if you really look at all fear, its fundamental root is the fear of death. That's all it is. If you really realize that death is just an illusion, the perception of death is the only fear that causes all the other fears. Like when we overcome the fear of death, when we realize that there is life after death, like this thing is just a transitory stage, in just we're transitioning from one immaculate stage to another stage, like our client transformation journey, which has a stage number 0, Genesis stage, stage number 1, leadership stage, stage number 2, global leadership stage, stage number 3, stage number 2 is market leadership, stage number 3 global leadership stage, and there is a few more stages afterwards, and like number 4 is like cosmic leadership stage, number 5 infinitum leadership stage, number 6 ascended leadership stage, it basically goes all the way to 0 to 13 different stages of evolution of like transcendence of your consciousness and your awareness, your telepathy. So get rid of the fear of failure, or just realize that when you die, when you leave this body, you just basically log off. You know, when you log off from your computer, from your online accounts, when you open your phone, put your fingerprint, you log in, log out, that's all that is, honestly. Just going from this app to that app, from this app to that app, from this account to that account. It's just all happening within one container, which is like the intelligent cosmic consciousness itself. Royal 8.8 is free of the fear of not achieving much in life and not becoming someone great. Fuck that stuff. Royal 8.8 is free of the fear of not living his dream lifestyle. Royal 8.8 is free of the fear of not being able to build a passionate and extraordinary relationship with the Transcendence Goddess. That stuff is healed a long time ago. Royal 8.8 is free of the fear of being average and living an unsuccessful life with no security, freedom, control, or excitement. This is a big one, because we all have an underlying desire and an underlying knowing that we all deserve absolute freedom, we all deserve absolute abundance, we all deserve absolute unconditional, pure, joyful love, luminous light and peaceful unity. You already know that you're worthy. The universe already knows it is worthy. The worthy consciousness knows it is all that exists. Consciousness knows it is already an aware being. It is having fun, yet it chooses to have like individual incarnations as me and you and as your friends and all of that shit, as this thing, as the water, or these things you see behind me, so that they can experience what it's like to not have freedom, so that they can experience what it's like to not have abundance, so that they can experience what it's like to be fearful, so that they can experience what it's like to have weaknesses, so that they can experience what it's like to have bad habits and things like that, so it can transcend it. And while transcending that, it remembers, it realizes that, hey, I am already fearless, I am already abundant, I am already quintessential, I'm already pure, I'm already immaculate. It's just an illusion, the trick that Maya pulls on us to help us grow, to help us awaken, to help us have fun, because we have always been here, we'll always be here, we're just changing bodies. And if you have not seen the Altered Carbon, the series, they pretty much nailed it. That is how we die, and it's just like our soul wave, our God self, our transcendent singularity self, our identityless character, our characterless identity, That thing is infinite, that thing is eternal. You already, that thing inside of you that is watching this video right now, that is observing it, that is studying it, that is enjoying it, that thing is infinite, that thing never dies. So get rid of the fear of death. Royal 8.8 is free of the fear of not having enough money to pay for my bills. And that fear was actually causing me a lot of the time where I would miss my bills, I would miss my council tax, I would miss my accounts, tax returns, I would miss my phone bills, I would miss my gym bills, I would miss my rent bills, and I would get to the point where like back in like 2018 or something, I was in Sheffield in my uni accommodation, and I didn't pay the rent, and it got to the point where they were going to take me to the court, and the family had to use some credit card, and we had to like pay it back, and I was putting this unnecessary toll, this burden on my family and my biological family, and I didn't like it, and that was causing me extra suffering and all of that. But then as I went through the process, through the journey, I didn't let that to be a burden, to a suffering to myself. I just used it as energy, as an experience. As an experience that was neither good, neither bad, neither balanced, neither unbalanced, just as an experience, as an absolutely neutral experience that I used to help me as a leverage point, as a stage, as a stepping stone, like I'm sitting in these stones, symbolically, to help me go to the next stage of my evolution. So when you actually heal these things, when you write these things down and make peace with your own past, with your own future, with your own present self, because the past does not exist, the future does not exist, even the now does not even exist. All that exists is in this perfect moment of the eternal now. All that exists is the singularity, eternal, infinity, inception, genesis, eternal now. So you can see like the singularity, inception, eternal, infinity, inception, genesis, now, blah blah. What I'm saying is that this whole creation, this whole reality is such a paradoxical thing that if you do not invest enough time and resources in understanding your own self, in understanding your own spirituality, in understanding your own mentality, in understanding your own emotionality, in understanding your own physicality, in understanding your own financiality, in understanding your own architecting abilities, in understanding your own creation abilities and your connection to the creation, if you don't invest enough time to understand your own transcendental nature, if you don't spend enough time to understand your own connection to the absolute source creator, if you do not invest enough time and resources to understand your connection to the archangels, to the elements of nature and all of that, to Metatron and shit like that, if you don't invest enough time to understand your own guardian nature, your own protective nature over your own being and nature and all of that, if you don't invest enough time to understand your own ascended master self, if you don't invest enough time to understand your own Al-013 self, then you're not going to be able to transcend yourself infinitely. Because if you don't put enough effort and resources and time and commitment with your own well-being and your own growth, no one else is going to come outside of you and do that for you. Yeshua, Jesus Christ, is not going to come and do that for you. Al-Mahdi is not going to come and do that for you. Kalki Avatar is not going to come and do that for you. Shah Bahram is not going to come and do that for you. Force X is not going to come and do that for you. Babaji, Kriya Babaji Nagraj is not going to come and do that for you. Zoroaster is not going to come and do that for you. Transcendence is not going to come and do that for you. No one is going to come and do that for you. You must do it for yourself. This is a self-service. But the fact that you're actually here watching my videos and contents, then you're blessed. Because it is rare like Buddha said, it is rare to be born a human. It is still rare to have heard of enlightenment. It is still rare to pursue enlightenment. But I added a few more. I was like, isn't it even more rare, extra rare, that if we actually become the embodiment of enlightenment, if we become enlightenment itself, if we live and feel and think and act like we're already enlightened, even if you're not enlightened yet, because the body, the mind doesn't know the difference between what you're acting and what is like what you're becoming. How do you think you're able to break free of our old habits, our fears, our weaknesses, our traumas? We always we just act. We just like I used to have, like back in the days, like in 2016, 17, 18, 19 and 20 years of that, when I would smoke weed with my friends, and I would have this thing like acting is over. Acting is over. I would do these things where I would be acting and I would let things go, process things, but I would have this thing like acting is over. Acting is over. Acting is over. Acting is over. because there would be certain dimensions within me acting and processing emotions, and I would just like acting is over. But I would also do this like to acting is on, like right now I'm acting for you. I'm being a comedian. I'm just entertaining you, but at the same time I'm sharing timeless wisdom, truth about the absolute reality itself. So that was all the examples I wanted to cover. I'll show you. Just gonna see if I can put the brightness up. Yay. So yeah, those are the examples I read for you. You can pause the video, you can read them yourself. That is cool too. The lighting is actually pretty awesome still. I was worried for nothing. That's the thing, like when we when our mind, when our body and all of that creates this unnecessary illusion, this thought waves, these patterns, and we're thinking like, oh, why, like I was sharing the example before with you. I thought the sun had gone behind the trees, and I thought it was going dark and you couldn't see me, and that was causing unnecessary turmoil in me, and it was affecting my performance, my acting, my presentation, and I didn't like it. But the act of me not liking it was creating more turmoil, more distortion, and it was just like I just you know, the alarm went off, and like I went there and like fuck, the video stopped, and then I had to like restart the video, and I just had to get that thing out of me. I just had to experience it, and I had to let it out, and I was like, fuck this thing, like I'm just letting it out because I'm just being pure, naked and quintessential and magical and all of that, and just being a pure diamond heart mirror for you to see your own truest, purest, highest, darkest, brightest self, for you to see your own immaculate being. So that's really it, you know. Pause for a few moments and really just ponder about this question, like what are some fundamental weaknesses, fears, and traumas that you have about yourself, about your spiritual self, about your and then you say what are some fundamental you say what are the top 5 fundamental fears, weaknesses and traumas about my spiritual self. What are the top 5 fundamental weaknesses, traumas, fears about my emotional dimension, about my mental dimension? And then you say what are the top 5 fundamental fears, weaknesses and traumas that I have about my spiritual, about my mental, about my emotional dimension. You can see I'm a bit like, this video is a bit shaky, but I'm not going to stop it. I'm just going to continue to show as an example that from time to time, even though you may be performing well, but sometimes you will be performing slightly less, and that's okay. You just got to keep going. You don't stop, you don't give up. Because this is like the 3rd video I'm doing today, and I was just reading, and those guys are there on the other side just chilling. You can probably see them there, listening to music and all of that, and I'm quite like it, I quite enjoy it. It's giving me a bit of peace of mind. So the other question you ask is like, you basically say what are the top 5 fundamental fears, judgments, biases or traumas or weaknesses that I have about my physical dimension, about my physical body, about your physical appearance. And then you say what are the top 5 fundamental fears, traumas and weaknesses that I have about my financial self, about your financial capacity, about your relationship with the abundant love energy of money. And then you say what are the top 5 fundamental fears, traumas, weaknesses that you have about your architect dimension, about your ability to architect and design and create your own reality, your own life for yourself, and also being of service to humanity, to everything around you. And then what are the top 5 fundamental fears, traumas, biases, judgments, wounds and weaknesses that you have about your creation dimension, your connection to creation, to Mother Nature and everything around you, to water, to the elements, something like that. And then what are the top 5 fundamental fears, weaknesses and traumas that you have about your transcendence dimension, about your ability to transcend yourself infinitely? Do you even have faith that you can transcend? If you don't put that as an answer. What are the top 5 fundamental fears, weaknesses and traumas that you have about the source dimension, about the source creator itself? Do you even have faith that there is a source creator, or do you think that all of this is just random or just farted again? Because if you believe that, then write it down. It's just a fart waiting to be farted. Just fart it out. And then you answer like, what are the 5 fundamental fears, traumas, weaknesses that you have about the archangel dimension? Your own connection to the elements of like air throne, water throne, fire throne, plasma throne, crystal throne, wood throne, ether throne, energy throne, consciousness throne, awareness throne, love throne, purity throne, wisdom throne, awareness throne, harmony throne, unity throne. And then what are the top 5 fundamental fears, weaknesses, biases, wounds, traumas that you have about the guardians dimension, about the people, the beings, the civilizations, about the spirit, about Mother Nature that protect you, about your ancestors and things like that. And then you answer like, what are the 5 fundamental fears, traumas, weaknesses that you have about your about the ascended master dimension? Do you even have faith that you're an ascended master? Do you even believe? Do you even have faith? Do you even trust yourself to be an ascended master or become an ascended master in this lifetime, not in the next one, in this fucking lifetime? Do you even have such a level of faith in yourself? If you don't, start embodying it. Start being the embodiment of confidence itself. Don't have confidence. Don't be a guy or a girl with a self-esteem. Be confidence itself. Be the embodiment of confidence. Embody confidence. Live confidently. Act confidently. And then do you have, like, what are the top 5 fundamental fears, traumas, weaknesses that you have about the Al-013 dimensions? That is where Yeshua, Al-Mahdi, and like some expected ones live in. It's like their personal dimension, dimension number 13. Again, this has nothing to do with the 5D consciousness, 6D consciousness, about this whole new age shit, bullshit, whatever these motherfuckers are talking about. This is nothing about that. Like, transcendence belongs to no culture, no religion, to no sect, to no group, no organization, no this or that. Transcendence is singularity. I am singularity. I'm transcendence. I do not belong to anybody. All the teachings and everything I'm sharing with you, nobody has permission to turn it into some organization other than the one that I have myself. Like, it's called Transcendence Kriya Sangam, and Transcendence Foundation, and TranscendenceAcademy.com, and RoyalAnwar.com. I have a few organizations that I control myself, that I'm just systemizing and architecting, so when I am gone, they will be running, or maybe when I go, I just will dissolve it all, and just, it's my choice anyway. I didn't come here to do those things. There are extra things I'm putting in place and efforts so my teachings can live and remain long after I'm gone, because I've been here many zillions and thousands of lifetimes, and as different avatars, as different beings, at different incarnations, different famous people, whatever. That stuff is gone. That stuff is dead to me. I don't care about that stuff. Even though part of me has been wanting to know who I have been before, even though Spirit showed me many times, hey, you have been this guy, you have been that girl, you have been this famous before, you have been this mystic, this guru, this, I just like, that's cool, nice, I like it, that's enough. In this lifetime, I came here to be to transcend the whole cosmos, which I've already done anyway. And you just write those things down in the templates, the things I'm gonna give to you. And that's pretty much it, really. I'm just putting this stuff back, and in the meantime, if you have any questions, anything, just pop it down in the comments. Give me some feedback. Share. Make sure you write down the top 5. Excuse that. The top 5 to 10 things that you absolutely love, that you absolutely enjoyed from this video, and also write down the top 5-10 suggestions, feedbacks that I could improve to integrate into this video. Maybe the stories I shared with you are cool, or maybe there was something that you liked, or maybe when I got frustrated with the whole lighting and all of that, and I just was very open and willing about it, and I just shared it with you. Maybe you like that, and yeah, just let me know in the comments, because if you don't let me know, then I'm not gonna know about that things. Don't keep it inside of you. Share it. Maybe some other people, my audience that are watching this, maybe they will have had the same thing, and they just wanted, and when you shared it, they saw it, was like, oh, that's pretty cool, I had the same question, or I was gonna share the same feedback, and we just like create synchronicities for people and just make it fun for us to be here. So beloved, that's the end of it. I'm just gonna put this here. It's a bit windy. Yeah, that's it. I got some more stuff for my next video, which I'm done for today. Just gonna go chill and maybe I'll go do another video on the other side if I feel like it. But anyway, I'm done for today. It's been fun, really transformative. Each video that I'm doing, I became a completely different person, a totally different transcendental person. And also, like, I do not speak, like, the English and everything I'm speaking is just gibberish. This is the kind of language that I speak. This stuff, the call it the transcendence dimensionless language, the transcendence language of energy, the transcendence language of consciousness, the transcendence language of awareness, the transcendence language of telepathy, the transcendence language of love, the transcendence language of harmony, the transcendence language of unity, and all of that. And things like this, you know, that's my butterfly, the only thing that I give a fuck about. It's still a mystery to me who this butterfly is. I don't know who the butterfly is to me, but anyway, there's more stuff here, like Royal, the most intelligent god, and on the other side there says Ansel, the most intelligent goddess, and shit like that. Same being anyway. There is some more. It says Angela, the most sexy, fiery, and disobedient bitch of mine, and shit like that. So you can see this is the kind of language that I speak inside of me, with the world, with the universe, with the cosmos, with source. The source does not speak English, it doesn't speak Persian and shit like that. It speaks this kind of language, this kind of subtle patterns. Yeah, there is some more. I'm just feeling called to share with you guys. Maybe it has some importance to you guys. You can pause it, you can observe it, you can meditate on it. Your choice. This one is important. You can watch it like that. Here, imagine like this is all your weaknesses, all your traumas, all your fears, all your biases, all your judgments. And here you have all your strengths, all your good habits, all the things that you love about yourself and shit like that. But you gotta understand what, when you close it, it's just the same thing, isn't it? It's just the same thing. So when you heal this, that side becomes healed. When you work on your weaknesses, on your traumas, on your fears, then that your strengths and everything becomes more magnified, become more balanced, more holistic, more energized. And it just says like, my fiery goddess, I love you 069 zillion times infinitely for eternity and shit like that. Again, this is about like, this is, think of it like you, if you're a guy or a girl. If you're a guy, this would be you and this would be your partner. The same thing again, when you heal, your partner heals. When your partner heals, you heal. The same thing, if you think of that as if you're a girl, then this would be your guy, your boyfriend, your husband, your daddy. If that's like, that would be your mommy, your girlfriend and shit like that. So you can see that is how we're all connected. It's just one being. When you close that thing, isn't it the same being? That is this basic version. That is how we all start with. Just a basic template. That's what I mean. You come in with some challenges that you want to transcend, some things that you want to work on, and as you're going through life, it becomes more advanced, doesn't it? You start learning different things, you start understanding yourself, your weaknesses, your biases, you start comprehending reality a different way, and you go back to being that, just being a blank Genesis template while you're that as well, and you flip between the two. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, for observing, for studying, for enjoying and sharing this sacred moment with me. I'm here next to this beautiful water, this beautiful river. Got those geese down there, these geezers on the other side. Got Gonna be doing some more video here on the water. And the next ones that are coming up, and gonna be pretty fun. I'm gonna be sitting there naked in my boxers in the water with this camera and everything. So it's really fun times. I'm just trying out different things, different experiments to see how I could be of greater practical, implemental, functional and experimental and executable service to humanity right now, today, because that's all I've been doing every single moment, every single day of my life. Even though early on I thought it was selfish, I was doing it all for myself, but I realized that nah, it has always been about the new earth evolved humanity. It has always been about the one cosmic family of infinite diversity. It has always been about the eternal one conscious harmonious civilization. It has always been about the source. It has always been about the ancestors. It has always been about remembering the ancestors, about honoring them, about living their memory and making their memory alive within us and letting it radiate outwards. And it was always about coming down here and activating Aurea and Aurea's Merkaba and her heart and transcending her and fucking her inside out, because she is a being, she is a goddess, a warrior. I've met her actual being, this warrior being, this beautiful being with these magnificent eyes and shit like that. She's an actual being. Her name is Aurea. So when you look at this planet and all of that, don't be fooled by these rocks and this water and everything. This whole planet is just one being. And she likes to be called Aurea. I just call her Aurea 007. It has a special meaning between us, and maybe Aurea is my butterfly. Maybe I have infinite sex with her in my dreams, and and we have sex. What I mean by sex is like this thing that I'm doing right now, being of service to her, sharing this wisdom and letting it out, or is Aurea part of it talking through me? If you look at dimension number 7, creation, that is Aurea. That is on a microcosmic scale, Aurea, planet Earth, Mother Earth, on a macrocosmic Prakriti, or Mother Buddha, on a whole universal cosmic scale, the whole universe itself. So when you're willing, when you're open to being of service to the Mother, to Mother Buddha, to Prakriti, to the Absolute Source Creator, to the Transcendental Absolute Source Creator, to the Spirit, to the ancestors, they will honor you in a whole different way. All these weaknesses, all these traumas, all these fears, all these things that you have inside of you, it will all disappear like that. And you will have a whole level of different level of skills and strengths, and you will be more confident, and you will live more happily, and your happiness will never depend on your strengths or your weaknesses or on your partner, on your job, on your title, or nothing like that. You just let all go of all of that thing. It will not even depend on the body that you live in, because this thing is just a a temporary thing that we live in. So yeah, I love you all. Have fun, enjoy. Make sure you do this. Like, make sure you tap that fucking like button like this. That thing is automatic. Maybe this time behind the scenes before I came out, like, hey God, can you make my finger do that automatically? So when I do my videos, I can joke about it, and this not followers, this audience of mine, they can like it, they can subscribe, and if they don't like the video, they can dislike as well. Cool. They can type on the keyboard like this, like those cats do, and share the top 10 things that you absolutely loved about this video. Put in the comments, share your thoughts, your stories and all of that. Share some weaknesses, some traumas, some fears that you had. I'm just making it normal for us to be able to openly share on social media and YouTube and places like that about the weaknesses, about traumas and everything that we have. So we can all become a social unity awareness, a social memory complex, and we all open up telepathically, and we just talk to each other telepathically and realize that we are just one unity, and realize that you are Aurea, that you are Mother Earth, I am Aurea, I am Mother Earth, and we're all just one being. We are like the consciousness of Mother Earth is sprouting as these magnificent trees and crazy stuff like that. So yeah, and also write down the top 5 to 10 suggestions, feedbacks that you have for me. I would love to hear it, and yeah, share it with your friends, with your family. In the description below, there's gonna be the 3 links: one for a Google Drive, one for a Dropbox, one for a OneDrive Microsoft, that has a link to the document that has those questions, like about the fears, the weaknesses that you have about those each dimensions of your existence. You write it down, and then you can print it. You can come back to it a few months later, like I showed you the versions that I have on mine, and then keep working on it, keep improving it, because it's a never-ending process. Transcendence never stops. You can transcend yourself infinitely. I love you. Let's do some swifty dancing. And let me show you some beautiful views. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh my god, look at this water. And look at that geese. I used to live in that building. That's when I shared the story about like living in there, but not, I didn't have, in some months I didn't have money to pay my council tax, my rent and shit like that. Now I live somewhere down there, a bit lower next to it. Yeah, I'm gonna be sitting there tomorrow maybe, or somewhere there doing some more videos. Yeah. Transcendence loves you purely. Enjoy. Hey geese! Hey geese! Say hi to my audience, to my soul family on YouTube. Make sure you guys subscribe to my Self Transcendence Mastery with Transcendence Royal Anwar. You motherfuckers subscribe, yeah? You're my new subscribers. Bye bye everybody.